welcome to the Reframe Your Artistry interviews, where we talk to individuals who think big picture while doing beautiful things right here, right now. I'm your host, Jess Honig, and I'm the creator of the book with the same name and platform Reframe Your Artistry. And we are fortunate today to sit down with someone so special and inspiring that she inspired me to open up a second season of interviews with creatives. So please, let's welcome Catina Morrison, who, thank you so much for being here, Catina.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
My honor. Catina Morrison is a health and wellness coach, and I learned about her through her very vibrant, colorful, compelling social media platform over at Instagram. And correct me if I don't get this right. Nurse_loves_essentials.
You got it.
Find you just by searching Catina Morrison or Nurse Loves Essentials.
Mm-hmm.
And also over at her very helpful website, nurselovesessentials.com, where I imagine maybe some of the origins relate to essential oils, but more broadly now encompasses the essentials of health and wellness. And so I just through my browsing on Instagram regularly, I was getting pop-ups of just very colorful, vibrant meals prepared by Catina and that she would feature on her platform, which to me really speaks to some core values in my life right now for an anti-inflammatory lifestyle and overall health and wellness. So through my gravitating back to her platform again and again, we started to correspond a bit online. And then recently, I've had the privilege to have some brainstorms and side conversations with Catina where we've been talking health and wellness in general. And then I also gathered a bit about the seeds of what we really can see on her social media platform, the seeds of her creativity, which sounds like it's been a lifelong exploration of the arts and creativity. I'll allow you to speak for yourself, but I certainly could relate, as many of the Reframe Your Artistry community can relate, that for a long time and throughout our lives, art really can provide a unique tool for coping and getting through stress, with stress of chronic health concerns, family discordance. And it sounds like a vibrant anchor for you, which not only are you benefiting from, sounds like creatively, we, the audience, are benefiting from now from what you've created. So thank you so much. And let's dig into some of your world. You ready?
Well, yes, I'm ready. And thank you for that introduction. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. Mm-hmm. So let's start with a big picture question. Do you think of yourself as an artist, Catina?
Yes, I do. I do think of myself as an artist, and not in the traditional sense of someone who is drawing or painting, but also in the other traditional sense of it, as far as someone who expresses themselves through written word or spoken word, poetry, songwriting. That has been the foundation of how I cope in life with whether it be with environmental and external stressors. It's been since childhood something I have done as early as I can remember, as early as the age of 5 or 6. Being someone who wrote out my feelings and my emotions and wrote them into poetry and created songs as well. So artistry, the artistry of writing, of literature has been a mainstay in my life. And I think that's also what is bridged into my work on Instagram and as a health and wellness coach to help inspire and encourage and motivate others. And in my case, through writing. It is one of the best ways that I express myself. I always say I heal through writing, but I also express myself best through writing. And I think that's also what contributes to the fact that when I make posts, for example, when I started my page in June, it was for the hope to inspire people to naturally natural and holistic ways of health. But my writing, my love for writing, my love for really touching others and expressing myself transparently, kind of goes hand in hand with the things that I write and put into my page. So you'll see some things that are very heartfelt and very that are things that really connect with what others are truly going through internally, sharing my experience. That artistry, that ability to express myself clearly and transparently that way has, I think, what has connected me to you and connected me to many others. So yes, definitely. I see myself as an artist in that way. And I hope in the future to share more of my art, more of my poetry, more of my music and songs that I've written that have been ways that I've been able to cope and to heal. But it's something I'll grow into in the future in expressing more of that artistry.
It's beautifully stated, and I feel that for audience members who do, and I hope you'll spend some time heading over to your website at nurselovesessentials.com. The essential journeys writing and blogging that you've been doing, I feel like it's a beautiful, what I'm going to call like a linguistic quilt. Like you're really threading together patchworks of the lives and journeys of others, and
Hmm.
it's been speaking to you, and it elevates others in highlighting in their journey and how others can see themselves in that journey. And also it seems like you're just doing beautiful transparent work because you're making linkages to the other stories as well. um, do you see that as a stylized strength for you, or just it comes so naturally you don't even know what you're doing?
Well, honestly, and it goes back to my background as a registered nurse as well. And then, like I said, my childhood. But when you connect my childhood art that helped me to cope and to heal with those environmental triggers and stressors and things that led to, the health conditions that I discussed on my platform, such as rheumatoid arthritis,
Mhm.
fibromyalgia. Autoimmune diseases usually connect something that stems from those childhood triggers.
Yeah.
But taking what helped me to heal and then connecting it to others and seeing where we relate, and seeing where I can help people to heal as well by expressing themselves. That I think also comes from me being a registered nurse. So taking in, combining that childhood and that love for writing that I have with my love and care for others. As a nurse, compassion, empathy is just a part of who we are as nurses. It's part of what also helps us usually to heal too, seeing our patients, seeing our clients, seeing others around us grow and heal. So when I created my blog, the Nurse Loves Essentials blog, and then created the Essential Journey Spotlight, I wanted to spotlight others in order to inspire others to know that we are not alone. We have shared experiences, whether those experiences are different. Not everyone that I come in contact with are people who have chronic illnesses or autoimmune diseases, but they may have had journeys with depression or other struggles in life, and they maneuver through those struggles in order to help and to inspire others as well. So I highlight, as I spotlighted you as well, the work that you do, and how you've connected artistry to helping others to heal as you also healed yourself. And
Mhm.
that's the type of work I've done in my Essential Journey Spotlight. My love of writing, my love for people and compassion and empathy for others, connected to writing and encouraging others. Some of them didn't even know they had skills in writing. So connecting and pushing them to grow in that artistry for themselves as well. was a part of me doing the Essential Journey Spotlight. But yes, that blog, if you read my earliest posts, you'll learn a lot about my journey and how the healing process, and transparent and very raw information about what I went through and now what I do to encourage and inspire others to do the same as a health and wellness coach. But yes, thank you for highlighting the Essential Journey Spotlight, as well as being a part of it, because you had an amazing journey that you shared as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for appreciating it and
Mhm.
creating, I think, really from who you are, the type of person that you are. It's spoken to me very early on when I browsed your platform, and further affirmed as I get to know you. It's the type of person that you are, whether you've pursued kind of healing your own human condition or inspiring others to continue to heal their own through art or healthcare. Um,
Mhm.
you're doing it through both avenues, and you're also seeing the linkages, which I think is really powerful and refreshing. Thank you.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Um,
Mhm.
so for a moment, just staying, if I may be kind of bold, and let me know if it's too intrusive. Like, I am curious about some of those earliest seed moments where I see in artists, like maybe it's the aha moment that, like for me, it was like regularly closing the door to the rest of the house and just like going to my then typewriter. We still had
Mhm.
typewriters back when I was first writing. Like, I just knew that there was always a place I could go to. There was a safe place for me. Can you tell me about some of those earliest pieces or creative
Mhm.
sparks for you?
Yes, as a child, I was very much so an introvert, and I do consider myself to be an extroverted introvert. But primarily an introvert who has, to express themselves in extroverted ways and to communicate with others. But I was very much so an introvert. I found it very difficult to really fit in with others. I was quite different, in the sense that I was someone who being introverted, which is very much not like most of my family members, and then also being someone who was more so in the books. And my mother really raised me to be someone to feel comfortable verbalizing myself, but and expressing myself to her. But in certain environments, for a young child to feel as comfortable expressing themselves as I at times did, it often was off-putting for some people. So it made me, as a child, kind of go into a shell a bit. And the fact that I often didn't relate as much with others due to, being an introvert and having, and just being different, maybe it was because I was a bookworm more so, but also those experiences I had in my childhood that I feel were triggers to what developed the autoimmune disease, things that were outside of my control. And what I found as early as 6 years old, 6, 7, probably between the ages of 6 and 8, I will say for sure. What I did was when, after my parents' divorce, which was a much needed one, and after my and during a time where I just really felt very alone. And I think as a 6 to 8 year old, that's a concept that I don't know if most 6 to 8 year olds get. But I remember feeling extremely alone and not feeling comfortable expressing myself as much verbally. So while my mother encouraged me, I never really felt that ability to honestly and transparently express myself to others, in fear of either being hurt, of hurting them, or in fear of being judged. I think that's most of what was the case in my childhood. It's that I did have a strong fear of being misunderstood, judged, or hurting the others by expressing my feelings too transparently. So that suppression, I think, bore to, illness eventually. But very early, I felt relief when I wrote. My sister, who is 10 years older than me, actually taught me how to write read and write between around 4 or 5 years old. She was working with me on those things. And I say that she doesn't, I don't know if she knows it, but she is the one who gave me the keys to my healing very early in life. Had she not exposed me to and encouraged me and motivated me and taught me as intensely as she did as a child, I may have not ever grown to the skills at healing that I have now, or at writing and reading. But I felt when I wrote, I would write and I would actually draw at that time, but I'm just not much of a drawer. But I would write out my feelings because I didn't feel comfortable talking them. So I would write them out and I would draw art to it. And I had some negative experiences with certain adults in my life. And actually one of those adults, when I remember, and this is why I remembered that early, I had written it, I had drawn the pictures that really expressed what my emotions were. And I felt better afterwards. And that person actually came and looked to see what I was doing, and they picked it up.
Wow.
And they just went into tears because they said, "I'm so sorry I make you feel this way. I'm going to do better. I'm wrong." And that's when I was like, wow. At that age, I learned that writing, drawings can actually touch others to this sense that they see the impact that they're having on you. So if it has that impact if it can have that impact on me and on them, then this is something I need to try to do more often. And that's, as a child, that's what I did. I did a lot of writing. My mom would also encourage me to write and to sing. She enjoyed my singing and things of that sort around the house. For most of my life, she was a single parent that worked night shift. So when she was working at night shift, and maybe not as available, it was me writing, reading, and expressing myself through art when I really didn't feel like I had many to talk to. And as I got older, I saw that this was something I excelled in school. Many of my works were, few of my works were published, and there was different writing contests that I got involved in. And I was like, wow, so I may actually have a talent in this, but I'm just expressing me. And not, I honestly didn't feel that it was like an extraordinary talent, to be honest. I just felt it was something that I did that helped me to heal. So from that 6 to 8 years old, when I saw how my writings helped me, but how it touched others, and then into my teenage years, where I did a lot of writing, behind the scenes that I just kept and stored and really didn't share, to when I was finally motivated to share with others. I'm encouraged by my mom and by my teachers and others to do more writing. And then into my adulthood now, when my father, he's actually was my stepfather, but I called him my father because he was the closest thing to a father figure I had. In 2019, he passed away of pancreatic cancer. And before he died, there was a song that I wrote for him and my mom for their wedding. And I changed that song up to express, you do this to me, Jess.
It's a back and forth.
Yeah, but I wrote that song and I was able to sing that song to him.
Wow.
And that song, I think, is what helped me to get through that difficult time.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to hear that song, but I feel like I hear it as well in this moment. It's so powerful, and to me, it also harkens back to what you were saying. Thank you for trusting me with this share. It harkens back to like that 6 or 8-year-old self sharing with that person something important. as well on an emotional level that, I don't know, I'm biased, but I think like unlike other mediums, even just matter of factly talking things through, sometimes art can take us to that real emotional core. And so to me, art isn't just that pretty thing on the wall, right? Pretty thing. It's a real vehicle to communicate something. And you noticed that you started that when you were quite young. And then in 2019, this piece, this you're a singer songwriter too. I did not know that about you.
Yes.
I know. See, this is why we also keep talking. I keep learning new things about you all the time.
Uh-huh.
You're so fascinating.
Well, thank you.
I
I
need it.
appreciate it. And I'm glad that you provide a space where, and we have developed a relationship that allows for those sharing of things, because there's intricate parts of who I am that many people may not get a full grasp of on my platform. And that's why I appreciate this opportunity to share this with you, because art in general I don't share as much, but some, if they read the captions and read the posts, they may see the art in what I'm sharing. And if they actually read my blog and really see the intricacy of how I try to transparently reveal the core of things,
Right.
then they can get a grasp of that particular of me as an artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was mentioning before, I got a little bit emotional. I'm glad I was able to come back together. Is that writing like has always been a form of healing for me since childhood, and it's carried out throughout my life and even into my illness with autoimmune disease and many loss that I've had in life. It's been that constant in my life, constant support of being able to get those feelings out, and once they're released, to feel that relief. And I think that's what art is to most artists. They're the way that they find a source of relief, especially and understanding. And that's what my work as a writer, as a singer, as a poet has done for me throughout my life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I was about to kind of think about the relational aspects of art, as we were talking about our exchanges, it brought up a lot, but I think also you're underscoring the experience of artists' relationship to the artistry.
Mhm.
It is a sacred kind of relationship. It's something I know for me, and similarly for like-minded artists, and it sounds like for you at times, it's there to communicate with and have a relationship with and to validate whatever's happening just through the very act of creating.
Mhm.
So it's a really sacred energy. And it's a place to really expand our self-awareness, our connection to others, just beyond the surface of things, as you and I have talked about and you implied with your website. Have there been instrumental people one way or another? It sounds like your mother certainly fostered and encouraged you to grow your artistry. Have you had more people like that, instrumental people? And similarly, have there been people that might have stifled you at times?
I believe my mom and my sister, because as I mentioned, my sister, I credit her for giving me the skill of, teaching me the skill of writing. Because unbeknownst, she doesn't see herself likely as an artist or a writer, but she was the first one that exposed me to writing, and not just an intellectual way, but writing in a way that really, gets to the core of expressing your views clearly and transparently, and in short word forms, not and as well as in long word forms. But she had that particular skill, and I don't think she had the opportunity to foster it as much, so she fostered it and helped to instill it in me, that skill that she had. And then it was just something that was just became a saving grace for me, and a talent that I was able to develop over the years. My mom, she's also in our family. She's also the more introverted. I don't come off as an introvert as to most people, but my mom also, and maybe not as much always to others, but she's an introvert. But I think she loved the idea that I could express myself so well, and that she felt like and in my mind, she felt it was a way that she could express herself through me too. Because much of what I wrote and what I sang, and when I expressed myself through poetry and writing, she connected with as well. So she would just say, "Yeah, Tina, sing, Tina, express, write, express yourself, share that with me." She even bought me a karaoke machine when I was younger so that I could record everything, and share it. And that's what led to me even creating like the for our my high school graduation, the graduation song that the school used for many years that I attended. So they really fostered it. Many teachers that I had in school also encouraged me as well. I think if anyone stifled, as far as being stifled, I don't feel that I was ever stifled in a sense of being able to express myself. I think if it was anyone that stifled me, it could have been myself at times, because we sometimes restrict and repress ourselves and suppress things that we should express easily, that we choose not to out of lack of comfort. At times, we might find it hard to go ahead and pick up that pen and write in challenging times, but I've just pushed myself to pick up the pen and write more often when I feel that way. Go ahead and share those thoughts. Whenever those thoughts come to my mind, it could be while I'm driving, I'll pull off to the side of the road and begin to write. If I'm in my home and thinking whatever I'm doing, I'll stop and just write or record. As you know, I have rheumatoid arthritis, so sometimes writing was not as easy in the early stages. So I would record my thoughts, and then later on turn that into either a poem or into a song as well. But no, I never felt stifled in any way by others in writing. I always felt like others really encouraged me to express myself that way, because I think they also got, whether I realized it or not, that I wasn't someone who found it as easy in my early years to really express myself openly or comfortably with others. I found that writing was a safe space for me.
Mhm.
And so it was something that was encouraged by others.
Mm. Beautiful. And I think hitting the nail on the head there, that writing as a safe space, which so much of in the Reframe Your Artistry community, I think of as something sacred that many of us can relate to, that when we rethink artistry, it doesn't just have to be, though it can also be that market driven art that gets framed in a gallery or that's on the top 10 charts.
Mhm.
But artistry is also this sacred space when we show up to create authentically. The examples I shared with you previously, I often think of the film Straight Out of Compton. There's an amazing line that says, "Our art is our reality." It's how we're living in our everyday life. It's the gestures and actions and behaviors of our community. In Japanese culture, artistry is woven through tea ceremonies of, imperfect teacups, and the active and impermanent gesture is artistic. So I wonder if you have thoughts, either personally, where you see your artistry going in authentic ways, or where you see artistry of the world going. And the last soapbox thing I will say, in part, I like to end on this question with my great visionaries like yourself. It's because I do think that art has a unique ability across culturally, across time, to be an artifact of how we've been living, to be a voice on the origins when like there's chaos everywhere else. Where do you see art moving forward in your life? What types of things might you be creating, and where do you think the world of art could be going?
Well, for me, when it comes to art and where I see it going, is to continue. Want to continue to invest in my blog, where I share the essential journey spotlight and share the inspiring journeys of others, help them connect with their inner artist and writer, as we collaborate on those projects and build those connections with one another and with others through those shared experiences. And then also continue to use my blog as an outlet of a way to express myself and also share in ways that people can get relief themselves, whether it be from their health ailments, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically. That's what I want my writing to do, is to be a bridge to finding that natural and holistic way to care for themselves better, to implement strategies that can assist them. And some can find that through reading the experiences of others and what they've learned. I also see, as far as art, continue to express myself on Instagram. There's art in the reels. Okay.
Yes.
There's art in the reels. So using Instagram as a way through, sharing pictures, sharing the videos, and using those as ways to connect with others as well, as transparently show and share my journey. Art in the world, I will say, has transitioned from what it used to be. I connected with a lot of the artists who are like me, as far as writing and singing and things during the 90s. That's when music was music, 90s and before. Now things have changed. Music is still beautiful, but I connect and relate well to music. One of my favorites.
Like what? What's an example of a 90s artist?
One of my favorites, to be honest, was India Ari. I thought that she was one of the most talented lyricist writers that exists, to be honest with you, because the way that she so rawly shared things and transparently stated things, that one of her songs, "I'm Ready for Love," still to this day, when I hear it, brings tears to my eyes. And it's one of my favorite songs to sing too, by another artist. But so artists like her, Jill Scott is another person who is an amazing artist as well that I enjoy. I like a lot of R&B, and back in those days, it was called neo soul when it came on the scene. So I want to also embark on doing more poetry, doing more songwriting, and maybe sharing that part of who I am, and then exploring others' art and your art and the art, so I would love to continue to grow in that way of exploring what art really is. The framework of artistry is going to be different depending on what your personal expression of it is. But I love connecting with other people, even whose forms of art is different from mine, and exploring it more and connecting through it. So that's my goal, is to continue to engage in what I'm doing now through Instagram, through social media, through my blog, connect with others, and then transition that into to doing more, sharing that other side of me, who is a poet and a singer and a songwriter. So you'll see, just you'll be around, so stick around and see.
I will be around
a bit more. Yes.
I will be following you, and I am so grateful for the time you spent with us and for the hope. I think that your platform and your voice shares. And to me, it is hopeful because it is both, it gives possibility in so many of your wellness based messages, but it is hope filled also because of its integrity. It speaks to the discomforts and the struggles of life. And you also give me a lot of hope with your timeless beauty when you just put on that yellow dress. the gold yellow dress.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're such a glowing energy, and I'm grateful that you've shared your time with us here at Reframe Your Artistry.
It has been wonderful, and I look forward to collaborating and sharing more with you in the future. And I appreciate once again this opportunity. You are an amazing person with a gentle, calming, inspiring, spirit that connects. You're obviously, an empathetic person who really sees the core of who people are and then shares who you really are with others. So I appreciate it. So I look forward to continue to follow you and watch as your platform continues to grow. And thank you so much again for this opportunity.
My honor. Thank you so much. We'll continue this conversation. Looking forward.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.